Hello, friends. I'm Gary Mahaffey, pastor here at Love's United Methodist Church in Walkertown. Welcome to our midweek ministry moment. Today's February the 9th. That means it's 5 days until the big day of St. Valentine's, that day of romance and speaking of love and maybe chocolate candies or kisses or romantic dinners out or whatever the case might be. Obviously, when we think about love, there are many places in Scripture that we could go to read about love. Maybe we could go to the very familiar John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him would not perish but have everlasting life." Or we could go to a familiar John's Gospel where Jesus is talking about the new mandate to love one another. But I went back to the very familiar words, beautiful words from Paul's letter to the Corinthians, his first letter to the Corinthians. Chapter 13, which is often referred to as his love letter, the love letter to the church. There's scarcely been a wedding I've ever officiated where the bride or sometimes the mother of the bride might request that at least a portion of these words be read. Often used in funerals as well, because they are words, as we read them, sound like words of comfort and words of beauty. Hear these words from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. "If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand my body over so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest of these is love." You know, we often miss the nuance in the Scripture. We realize that in the Greek there are multiple words for the one word we call love. So here's a little bit of a spoiler alert. Paul really wasn't talking about romantic love. He really wasn't talking about romantic love. We'll unpack that a little bit on Sunday. We hope to see you here, 11 o'clock in-person worship. And there's also the online version that will be posted on YouTube. We hope you worship with us in spirit, if not in person. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Be safe and live in love. Have a great week.